All right, I think we are good to go. All right, welcome everybody to the August Florida TUG. Currently on the screen right now is different ways you can connect with us. So feel free to join any of those ways. If you're currently watching live, put in the chat any of your information, your LinkedIn, Twitter, Tableau Public, whatever you want. That's the point of this group is to network and connect with everyone. Um, a little bit about myself. I work at Ariat. It's a California-based retailer. Yamil Medina is the other leader here. He works at Seek Data. A couple of different ways you can contact us there if you'd like. Otherwise, again, we have all that contact information on the first page. Just let us know if you need any help. We're here to help. Our promise as the Florida TUG is connecting with everyone here and any other media platform that we have. We've been having monthly speakers for about 3 years straight through the pandemic. It used to be the Orlando TUG. We converted to the Florida TUG until the other locations here in Florida caught up and got themselves going. We also promote any job opportunities here, which I have one on the next slide. The easiest way to do that is to join the Orlando Tableau user group on LinkedIn, and you can share your job postings there as well. We had somebody that requested to share this as a University of Miami job. It's a data analyst position. It is hybrid where you need to be on campus 2 days a week, but if there's anybody in that area, you definitely check that out. There's a link there. As soon as I'm done talking and I hand it over to our speaker, I will share that in the chat as well. We had an opportunity by another Tableau TUG ambassador, Ryu, I think is how he pronounces his name. They're creating a new TUG for career path makers. It's the first one of its kind. It's got a mentorship program and a transition program. It's tailored on networking and weathering those career transitions or layoffs. It's job search and job transition assistance, leveraging the DataFam and the Salesforce career programs, and centralized resources for you. So there's a link there to join that TUG as well. I will share it in the chat again once I'm done talking. And if you got your phone on you, you can take a screenshot of that QR code, whether you're watching it now or later. We will be giving away swag like we usually do at the end of this, so stay until the end to be eligible. And a couple of the upcoming speakers next month, we've got Tableau Tim here from the Information Lab. I think he's still there. Next month, we've got Kevin Wee. He always does something great on Figma. November, not sure what Lee's going to be talking about, but again, all ambassadors and visionaries here. And then in December, we're trying to do a hybrid event where anybody in the Orlando area, which is where Emil and I are based, we'll try to get some place to get together, but then also have a hybrid option for those that want to tune in virtually. Today's speaker, and I talked to him before we started. I'm going to butcher his first name. I apologize. I'm going to go with Thura. But please announce it for everybody once we get started, because you got a good accent and a good roll of the tongue there on how you pronounce your name. He's had experience since 2012, back in version 7.0. He's based in Norway. It's currently 6 o'clock his time. He's one of Europe's best Tableau trainers, 2,300 people trained in 15 countries. Currently the leader of the Norway TUG. He's got over 20 years of experience as a consultant, advisor, trainer. He's got 50 Tableau t-shirts and hoodies and a growing swag compilation, which I do not have nearly enough. So the next conference in San Diego, I'm going to have to try to catch up. Supports the Liverpool Football Club. I threw a logo in there for you. Is also a handball and soccer coach for his kids. So go ahead and take it away. It's all yours.
Thank you, Aaron. My name is Tore, as we pronounce it here in Norway. I'm from Bergen on the west coast, but today I'm in Oslo, the capital of Norway, because I attended earlier today the Tableau Inspiration Day, where Tableau comes together and inspire all their clients. And I was there talking about the Tableau user group and a bit of other stuff. So hopefully now you can see my screen. I only have one, or I have one with some notes on the side. So if there's any questions or anything, Aaron, you have to just let me know, so that if someone has a question or a comment that they would like to have an answer on, because this presentation I'm going to do today is a combination of how to advance your data career, and then finish up with the best of my tiny Tableau tip, which I do every Wednesday. I post on Twitter, or X as it's called now. I post a tiny Tableau tip. So I've gathered many of those since last September, and I'm going to show you a lot of these. Hopefully that will be tips that you don't know about, you haven't seen, and can save you a ton of time, and improve your skills in Tableau as well. So I've been running the Norwegian user group since well, it's actually now in November. It's a 5-year anniversary. We do as much as we can in person, but hybrid as well, so people can connect from other places in Norway. So that was a bit about me. And then, this one is just in here because nobody cares about it, but it was really fun at the last TC when Steve Wexler took this forward-looking statement and had done a sentiment analysis on this entire thing that everybody had to show before they did a presentation. That was really fun. So the agenda for the next, was it 4 hours, you said, will be, or maybe an hour, will be then how to become a Jedi, or how to basically skill up through training, certifications, community projects, and user groups. And then to get the job you maybe don't know that you wanted, through using Tableau Public, building a portfolio, using social media as well. And I like that you have this job postings that you showed earlier. There's a lot of user groups that do this. And also I've heard that some people are not allowed to go to some user groups because they're afraid, or the bosses are afraid that they will change their jobs. And then I will switch from a PowerPoint presentation, which I'm doing now in the beginning, to hands-on tiny Tableau tips in the end. So my title is a Tableau Jedi. Of course, when I changed jobs a couple of years ago, that's what I wanted to have in my as a title. So my boss said yes. But then again, I've been working with Tableau for, as you saw in the introduction, since 2012, version 7. And there's different kind of levels or skill sets, or depending on what you want to call yourself, or something is that you can call yourself a data rock star, you can call yourself a Jedi, or actually in Europe we have a Jedi council of 15, 20 people that have been working a lot with Tableau from a customer or a partner perspective. So that actually, it's not a hit, what's called it's not a title that is protected by any way, but something that I've gotten from Tableau. But you also have this visionary and the ambassador ones that I'm going to mention. So to become a data rock star, or become a Jedi, or any of the other ones in here, the idea is that you need to know data. You need to know Tableau. You need to know when to use which type of visualizations, when to use the different type of pre-attentive attributes when it comes to color, when it comes to length and positioning, and all this. And also, I think, well, depending on if you work as a consultant, or if you work in a company, there's always somebody who are your customer, or who you will build something for. You have to be bold enough to say that this is not the correct way to go. So if there is somebody who has a beautiful Excel report and they say, please rebuild this in Tableau for me, and then you could say, yes, I can do that, but there is a better way. And then you can show them and build this in Tableau with different type of visualizations, with interactivity. You can do guided analytics and so on. So building on this skill set, knowing when to use what, that comes, of course, by experience, by working with the tool, working with data, understanding the data, and as Tableau has said now for 20 years, help people see and understand data. And if you then contribute more, then you can be nominated, or you can even nominate yourself to be a Tableau ambassador. There's a lot of links in this presentation, and I can or I will make this available afterwards if you would like to go into any of these links, so you don't have to write all of them down, or if Aaron is really quick, he can copy paste or put them in the chat as we go along as well. And then you have the ambassadors, but you have also a level above that, and that's the visionaries. That's the one those are the ones, if I go one step behind, the ones that really demonstrate mastery, and they teach, they have blogs, they write books, they collaborate with others as well. So that's even a more distinguished group than the ambassadors and Jedis. I started with Tableau many years ago, working for a company that was a Tableau partner, selling licenses and also do services and training. But my boss at the time, he was a bit like, well, it's all nice and well with this self service BI, where we don't hear from the customer.
Just give us a second. Let's see if he can reconnect.
But I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't see anything. So was it me that got lost, or
Yes,
you?
yes, I think it was you.
Okay, let me try. Yes, you can see this one.
Yep, you're back now.
It's always Norwegian. Blame the Norwegian. You can see the screen
Yes.
again.
Yes.
Oh, the PowerPoint, perfect. Yeah, so we realized that the training is something that is quite helpful to reach a level, or a certain level, way faster. And as you might know, on the Tableau page, there's all kinds of different type of training. You can do self-paced e-learning. You can do live training that I do quite a lot as a trainer. And you can do, of course, during COVID, there was a lot of these through Tableau WebEx things where there wasn't even a camera on, so I couldn't see who I was training. They couldn't see me. They can only see the screen. I prefer personally to, both when I attend training or do training, to actually do it in person, because it's way easier to walk around and see if people struggle or if they have any questions. And some people are also a bit afraid of asking if there's something that they don't understand, and or they need some help with some of the exercises. If they have to share the screen with everybody in the Teams or Zoom meeting. But there's a lot of these as well, depending on what path you're going to go through. I'll come back to that as well. And then when you have reached certain type of skill level, you can do certification. So this is just a random feedback from a person that attended training. The point is that if you do the training, which is the e-learning, or if you just watch a video, you don't have that kind of feedback. You can ask questions, you can get things explained in a different way than that's basically just said or written somewhere. So depending on what is your goal, are you going to be a consumer of the data? Do you want to be an author? Are you a data scientist, or a combination of several of these. There's a lot of these learning paths that you can do with the online e-learning from Tableau. And as everybody love when you do these, especially when you're finished, you get a badge, and then you can collect all your badges, everything that you've done, like I've done in here in my profile. I have the certifications, I have the ambassador badges, but also the different type of e-learning and learnings that I've done, because you can use this to profile or for your own profile, or to share with a potential new employer, or to your own boss to say, well, look at all this training I've done, maybe I need a raise. Or if you are required, or you want to do or need to do some certifications, this is also a place where this is stored, recorded, and you know whenever they are expiring, so you need to do these again. And then by being certified, that's something that shows yourself, of course, but also your colleagues, your co-workers, your peers, that you have a certain level of knowledge. So they can come to you, or hopefully then it's easier for them to come to you to ask questions or with challenges, because they know that you know what you're talking about. You can start doing training sessions internally or for your clients, depending on what kind of line of business you're doing as well. And for me, as a trainer, a certified trainer, you need to be certified in the training bit, but also you need to have the in-depth knowledge of the product. So you need to have those certifications as well. And for now, these are the certifications that are available from Tableau. The low level, or low level is a bit strange. The easiest one, or the first step one, is the Tableau Desktop Specialist. It doesn't have that much requirements, but if you have been working with Tableau for some months, maybe attended some training sessions, then you should be able to do that one. And then you have the next level, which is the Data Analyst. That's a bit more, that's a professional level one. It's a 2-hour, I think it's 2 hours still, certification. I'm going to do it now again in a couple of weeks. 2 hour where you do some multiple choice questions. You need to get your hands dirty in Tableau. You might get a question of how much was the percentage increase in sales in North segment last year. Then you have 4 options. It's either 17, 15, whatever percent. And hopefully when you do your hands-on, you will see that you will get the correct answer. Otherwise, you have to try again. And there's a combination of both the hands-on bit and questions. But this data analyst covers everything from data prep, ETL, till Tableau Desktop, but also some on the bits on if you want to publish something to the server, some security permissions and stuff like that. So that's way more complicated. And if you are a real geek, or what I call those people who are server admins and stuff like that, they need, or not need to, but they can do the Tableau Server Associate as well. If you work in a company that is a partner with Tableau on a reseller or services or technology, then you can also do those certified Tableau consultant or Tableau architect. So those are more as a requirement for the partners to have X number of these certifications. And then you have the community projects. This is something that if you want to build your skill set, of course you do it hopefully or probably on a daily basis at work, but you can't take a work dashboard and publish it on Tableau Public to showcase your skills. So the community projects, which there are plenty of, from Makeover Monday, that one of the ones that has been there for the longest time, I think. The Sports with Sunday, there's storytelling. As you can see, there's many of these. There's even the ones that goes for Tableau Prep, if you're a prepper, in the sense that you're Tableau Prep and not the other type of prepper. If you love games, if you love sports and so on. There's so many of these different type of community projects where you can attend, in the sense that there's a data set, there's a challenge, please solve it, publish your version to Tableau Public. So you're building your portfolio, and you can hashtag it so you can get feedback from the people who are running these community projects. So this is a great way of building your knowledge, your skill set from whatever you do on a day-to-day basis, but then on some other type of data, and also getting feedback. And if you can't attend Make or Monday every Monday, you can still see what other people are doing. If you take one data set, give it to 50 people, you get 50 different takes on that same data set. And that's also a great way of getting insights and inspiration of what other people are doing. So if you are not part of any of these, please do. And then you're part of a user group. So I'm not going to spend too much time on the user groups because, well, you're here, so you know that they exist. And you also know that we're not on Splash, we're on Bevy, so you know that it's in here. But remember to go through this join a group one to see if there's any other groups that necessarily are not very close to you. I saw that we have people from India in here today as well, and all over the US. If you find a user group that are doing something that you are interested in, if it's industry specific or if it's just a presentation that you like, sign up for the group, sign up for the event. And then if you can't attend because it's midnight your time, or it's in the middle of your workday and you can't attend, you will always have the opportunity to find those recordings and the presentations afterwards. And then getting the job you want or you didn't know that you wanted. Tableau Public, as I mentioned a couple of times, is a great place to start. One thing is a great place to start if you in your day-to-day job, because there's 7 million different type of visualizations in here and 3 million people profiles in here. So you can go in here, and if you're working with something specific, just search for it, and there's somebody who has done something in that theme or in that area. So you can then download, you can reuse, you can learn, re-engineer, and then you can put your data into those dashboards and build your skill set. And when you build something on your own, you can create your own profile. It's free, it doesn't cost anything. You can put in your own vises in there so they can be available for other people. So because you want to showcase it, or as you can see on the right hand side, you can also hide vises. So I have some vises that I've created, not that I'm not proud of them or anything, but it could be that it's because I wanted to show something to some specific people. Then I just share that link. My family plays a lot of board games and card games and dice games and everything. So there's a dice game called Decaton, where there's world records, international world records, and we have family records. So whenever we play, we put in the results inside of a Google Sheet, which is linked to one of those hidden dashboards where we can see the who has the most wins, who has the world records for the different type of competitions in that dice game. And obviously, I did it because I have 5 of those 11 world of those records. So it's just show off for myself. You can also, when you find something that you like, there's a lot of visualizations out there for what charts to use when you're going to show data over time, if you're going to do correlation, what kind of training should I go to. I saw a nice one today that I need to add to my favorites as well. That's what is the customer doing versus what is Tableau doing if you have an on-prem server versus you have a cloud solution. So there's so many of these visualizations that is very easy to find, because you find something in here, you tick the star, and it's adding up to your favorites, so you can find it again and again. And if you find people that you like that are putting stuff on Twitter or LinkedIn, or you find it on Tableau Public that are creating something cool, you are then following those people to see whenever they're creating new stuff. And talking about building your portfolio, if you edit your profile, you can add this Hire Me button. So if you are looking to get a new job, you have a portfolio because you have built a lot of stuff, you published a lot of stuff, and you've been part of these different community projects, add this hire me button, and people that are looking for a job, they will see this see this hire me button, and they hopefully will reach out if they like your profile and like what you've done in there. And there's this I can't remember the name at the moment, but she's part of the data fam. She started using Tableau Public a few years ago, and then over like a couple of years, you went from 0 to 70 different visualizations in there, and also then changing jobs from going from one company to another. Now she works at Spotify. So there is some good stories in the Tableau Public space as well. And if you want to have a new job, you might need to have a resume. So there is an interactive resume gallery in Tableau Public, where you can see how other people are building their CVs or their resumes. You could download, you can reinvent, add in your own data, or combine stuff from different people in here as well. And then you have yet another reason for people to click that hire me button, basically. And when you've done all of these things, when you've done something that you're proud of, use social media. You can use Twitter, or X as it's called now, I guess. Use LinkedIn. You can use all the new ones that are coming, but talk about what you've done, your accomplishment, that you're speaking at a user group, or like I have the TinyTableauTip on the right hand side over here. Put it out there so people see that you have knowledge, you're doing stuff, you have accomplished a new badge, you have done a certification. That will give you traction. People like, if they like what you do, they reach out, and then they might ask you to do a session on a user group, or they might ask you to do a session at a Tableau conference or something like that. And then you're building both your network and your skill set as well. And a couple of tips for sharing on social media. Just remember the hashtags is really important. But the name of your community project that you're following, hashtag Tableau, hashtag the data fam. I have had those tiny Tableau tip because I'm hashtagging and including the @Tableau, for example, on Twitter. And then once a week or once a month, they send this newsletter out, and then they have a blog post, they have this and that, and then they have, oh, there's a tiny Tableau tip from the guy from Norway. So that's pretty cool as well. But one thing that the data fam is really good at is to give feedback. So give feedback yourself, and receive feedback from other people. That's especially in the community projects, that's really helpful. That's where you get a lot of feedback. But if you attend user groups, you get your network, you can reach out to people and ask, how does this look like? What should I change, or is it okay? And share what you're doing on these all these different social media. Go to user groups, reach out and say, I would like to present, or I have something interesting to present to a user group. See if that's something that fits into their calendar or their agenda. Go to the forums on the Tableau forums to share, to get feedback, give feedback, and so on. And then if you would like to build something, if you don't follow any of the community projects, or you don't have time for that, or you're not interested in anything specific, there's so many open data source or open data resources out there. Or if you're interested in The Simpsons, there's thousands of visualizations of The Simpsons on Tableau Public. Find something you like, download it, copy the data, build your own visualization. Or even better, if you have anything that you're passionate about, collect that data and use those when you're building your dashboards. The CV or resume on Tableau Public is always something that you can use. That's your own data. You should hopefully be passionate about those ones. You can do real life dashboards, in the sense of real life, in the sense that you obviously shouldn't publish any real life data or sensitive data from your employer. But if you have a real life dashboard at work, you do some changes with the data and the logos and everything like that, then you can share those as well. And then share, of course, your certifications, your achievements, if you have any speaking roles, and so on. These are plenty of tips and tricks and ideas of how to build your portfolio, to skill up, and to share this to the world. And maybe if you want to have a new job, you can get it based on that you have skilled up, you have shared this, and you have the documentation for it, because you have all these different type of portfolios that you have built up. I know that most of you guys are US based, but since there hasn't been a TC Tableau Conference Europe over the last, since COVID, last year, me and some other people from the data fam in Europe, like Annabelle, as you can see in there, Sarah Bartlett, Heidi Kalbe, and some more, we created Visit London last year, which was quite a big success for us, or for the people who attended. This year we're doing the same thing, but in Berlin. It's a free conference. It's 2 full days with, it's basically a TC Europe in miniature. The seats are filling up, so if you want to go visit us in Berlin, want to visit a local conference, you will see this is the latest update of people who are attending from where, and you see that there's even people from both the US, Colombia, we have from Egypt, from India. So we have people from basically all over the world, but mainly from Europe, obviously, because of the travel distance. So it's not like we have to go to Vegas or San Diego all the time. So we're trying to push Tableau to understand that we need something in Europe as well. So that's why we're doing these visits as well. And if you have seen some of this on the social media now, our Australian friends in the data fam, they're also doing, I think it's Visit Sydney this fall as well. You see the link down on the right hand side. So if you want to join us, please feel free to come. As I said, the conference is for free, but you need to travel. So now I'm going to switch over to the TinyTableauTips. And since I lost my other screen here, so I'm just going to stop sharing for just a second. So I get my other screen with my notes in there for the tips. Has there been any questions? Is there any comments? Is there anything that you would like to, anybody would like to talk about for the first bit that I did? If not, then I'm always ready
I don't
to
see anything
move
in
on.
the chat, but I had a few questions if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Where would you suggest people to go to study for those certifications? I've done Udemy before, udemy.com, and that's helped. But what do you recommend?
If you, first of all, you should have some practice, some hands-on practice, and you should maybe attend some of the training sessions. If you go to Tableau and see certifications, there will be some exam details where they say what kind of requirements you should have, based on training and e-learning and stuff like that. And then they have a few, like 5-6 questions maybe on examples of what you will expect of the level. I haven't been doing a lot of those other places or gone other places, but I see that there is both companies and web pages that you can pay for, not too expensive, but you can pay for like trial exams, which you can go through and see if you are on the correct level. So if you spend, like, I think it's between $10 to $20, $30 or something, so it's not too expensive considering the exam itself costs $250 or something for the data analyst. So it's quite expensive. So that's something that is, yeah, you can do some of those if you want. If you search for how to prepare for any of these certifications, there are also a lot of blog posts on all of these where people have done this before. Of course, they're not saying that these are the specific questions, but they say what kind of level, what to focus on.
Okay, that's it for me. Back to you.
Certification, are they permanent? No. Well, I think that the first one, the desktop specialist, that's forever. But the data analyst, that's a 2-year interval for that one. And the same with the partner ones. So that's why I need to now redo my data analyst certification in a couple of weeks. And then I have to sit all alone in a room and show the webcam that I'm all alone. I can't use an extra screen. You can't use a mouse. And there's somebody watching you on the webcam for 2 hours. So remember to go to the bathroom before you begin. And one really nice or a quick tip for if you do or when you do the certification, you have a lot of questions, a lot of things that you have to go through. Do the ones that you are really certain that you understand, just tick them off, do them. If you meet a question that you are uncertain of, you, instead of spending 5 minutes try to solve that, just say mark it for later and then do the ones that you're certain of. Then you go back and spend time on the other ones. Otherwise, suddenly you realize that time is up and then there's 5 questions that you would have done if you would have had the time. So I'm going to share my screen again. And I'm going to open up Tableau. So now you can see my Tableau screen, hopefully. And then you just stop me when you have had enough, Aaron, because I can talk forever now. But I'm going to show you some of my tiny Tableau tip in here, and start with one thing that has been requested in Tableau forever: the spell checking. You see that I have the executive overview in here, and this is from.
It's going in and out. I'm sure he'll be back in a second.
Okay. So what are you seeing? Or is it me that's going
you're
in and
back.
out? Ooh. So am I sharing? Oh, come on. Oh, sorry about that. So you can see my Tableau again?
Yes.
Or so if you have and any and you see that this is
Just hang in there, guys. We'll get through it.
is to, I think, did I lose it again? Yeah, I think I.
We can hear you now, though.
Okay. Yeah, but this is not fun to go back and forth there. So
I'll trust that I remember all my tips. I'll just do this. Okay. So you can do the Control M to get a sheet started next to the one that you have open. All the way down on the right hand side, have you seen these 3 icons? By default, we do have this show tabs. You can do a film strip, which is a bit nicer in the sense that you can also get a preview of all your sheets. But if you have many, if you have like 60 or whatever in your workbook, you can click on this one, the last one, over here, and you can see all of them. Then it's very easy to drag and move and adjust the order of where you have all your sheets. Let me go back again. I'm going to create a new sheet. I'm going to look at all my customers. I love my customers. And if I'm gonna add in something in here, a number, that's fine. But if I would like to have a random number, I go to my columns, I double click. I'm not sure if you've seen this. If you double click around on columns or rows or the marks card, you will get a blank pill, not a blue or a green one. Basically, you can create a ad hoc calculation. And you also know that the IntelliSense, if you start writing something, you will then get a suggestion of what you're trying to do. But if you write in random, with the parentheses, you see that it's blue, so Tableau recognizes this, but it's not documented. I click enter. Now I have a bar chart. I'll put this onto the label, so we have a text table. We basically get a random number from between 0 and 1. If I now add a filter and do some adjustments, the numbers are changing again. So they will always be randomized. So if you need to have a random number, this is the way to do it. If you want to keep these random number as they are, you go to worksheet, you go to copy, and you copy your data. When you've done that, you do Control V. So basically you're pasting a clipboard, a temp table in the background or a file where it keeps my customer name and the random number. So it automatically puts in the customer name and the random number as a measure, and it won't be changing if you adjust it like this. You probably also have done this a couple of times if you have some table, but it ends up being very tiny. Maybe we also have a date over here. So you can go and put in entire view, but then the font is very tiny and there's a lot of white space in the background. So a quick tip of adjusting the table, if you don't want to try to find that sweet spot where you can adjust these ones, use the control and the arrows. If you go to the right and go up, you can adjust this as you like and find the best space and the room for how you would like the data to look like. If I now go to show me and just going to switch this to be oh, sorry, I don't have to switch it because it's already a table, sorry. I'm going to put the quantities on color like this, and then I'm going to take a copy and put it on label. And for a short period of time, this looks like now that I've colored my fonts. So I just have to remember to put the marks onto square. I only have the quantity in here for now. If I also have sales, I also have the profit. You see that the measure values goes from 540, which is the lowest number of either profit or quantity or sales, to the highest number, 258. But the only thing that we can see any variation of is the sales, because it's not very easy to see that on quantities, even though it goes from 17 to 2,900. When we have measure values on color, we can go and right click or click on this triangle and use separate legends. Now you see that I have one for profit, 540 to 45,000, one on quantity, and one on sales. And they adjust accordingly within each of these measures. You can even go into each one of these and edit the colors and change all of them to be their own color, but be a bit careful when it comes to the visual best practice. Too much color also confuses a bit, but this is a nice way of cleaning this up like this. If I clear this one and look at my where did I have those? Those are over there. My categories. I have some subcategories, and we have some sales. And I would like to have, I can make this entire view as well. If I would like to have category on color, that's fine. I have one color for each of the three categories. If I would like to have subcategory on color, I can do that as well. It looks a bit messy because it's too much of them. But what if I would like to have both of them on color? Because I can't just drag subcategory in here on color, because then it's replacing the category. So the trick is to put subcategory on detail, and then you might have seen that you can go into in front of these blue or green pills to change from label, size, detail, and color. So if I now change subcategory to color, I will have one color and gradient from dark to blue, from dark to light on the orange, and the green as well. Of course, this color legend on the right hand side looks a bit messy now, since it has all the combinations, so we might not need this one, so we can get rid of the chart. If you download something from Tableau Public, or you open up something that a colleague of yours have done, maybe they've done this, maybe the pages shelf is missing because I never use it, and it looks a bit messy. I go back to this sheet, well, the columns and rows look like they should be. This one doesn't. It doesn't help to close and open the workbook, but you can right click in this gray area over here, and you can click on reset cards, and you're back to have the column and rows back into where it should be. You have the pages, you have your color legend. If you would have had a parameter, or if you would have had a filter list on there, those would be taken away, but those are easy enough to add on again if you want to. You have your data sources over here. You're connected to those. You're pretty happy. But then you see that I would like to add on some content to my data. So there's a couple of ways we can do that. You can go to any web page, which would be this one. Just randomly picked a Wikipedia page about the Nordic World Ski Championships. I'm from Norway after all. You can go to any PDF or web page or intranet or whatever, and then you can go in here and copy, Control C. You can go back to Tableau, and you can do Control V, and you will once again get a temporary clipboard. Tableau just pushes everything into the view immediately, but I'm going to clear it up. I'm going to add in the nations. I'm going to add in the total number of medals, and I'm going to sort it. And look at that, Norway are on top. We really love skiing. So now I have this temporary table with data that I can use or reuse into my further analysis. Another quick way of opening up data, if I'm just going to put this on the side, and I have some data in here. So I have some CSV files, text files, Excel files. You can basically just drag and drop into Tableau like this, and it connects. Or you can even, if I'm just going to minimize this for now, you can take any data, drag it into your desktop where you have Tableau 2022.3 or 2023.2 or whatever. Tableau connects automatically, and you can start building your analysis. So a couple of shortcuts to get your data in there. In this one, this is some city bike data from Oslo. I'm not going to show you a lot of different type of visualizations in the sense of visits, but you know that the Show Me one has a lot of those that are built in. You can use the ideas to request more on the Tableau webpage, and if you are following on social media, or you've seen Tableau Public, now you can do Sankey diagrams and or what's called radial network charts built into Tableau on Public. Hopefully, and well, not hopefully, that will also be a part of Tableau Desktop in the future. I attended Inspiration Day, Tableau Inspiration Day in Oslo today, and there's even more coming in the future. But for the ones that are not in there, if I take the start station name, put it on text, I'm going to change from automatic to text, and then I'm going to put duration on size. Then we have a word cloud. It's not part of Show Me, but it's really easy to drag and drop to build this type of visualization. When you're building this, or if I even go back to my Superstore database, no, not database, dashboard, if I look at this dashboard, or I look at any of these sheets, maybe I just deep dive into this one, and you want to do what your boss always tells you to do, could you please document this, put this in a whatever preferred format. You can always take a screenshot, but there's a lot of text you have to do. So one quick shortcut is the Control+E. You will then get a sheet description. You will get a description of the entire visualization, the plot of sum of sales for order date broken down by blah, blah, blah. You see what kind of marks, what's on the shelves, what kind of dimensions, including the members, what kind of measures and data source details. You can copy this, you can put it in your preferred documentation tool, maybe it's Notepad, I don't know, but then you have all this information available for your documentation. Unfortunately, so that should be an idea for the Ideas Forum. If you go to Overview or a dashboard, you can't do Control-E. But if you do Control-E, it's basically just showing the same sheet description for that specific sheet that you have selected. So that's also a shortcut of how you can do all of these in a quick way. Whilst we're talking about dashboards, this is a nice little tooltip. I would like to adjust this a bit. So you can go back to the dashboard, sorry, the sheet. You can go into tooltip and you can do adjustments in here. But why should we do that when we can go back to the dashboard, select whatever sheet we would like to adjust, go up to worksheet on the menu, click on tooltip, and then we can do exactly the same thing without going back and forth. Save you a ton of time if you do that every time going back and forth. Sorry. If I go back to a specific sheet or your data itself, you need to do some documentation or you want to know more about your data in here. If you right click on any dimension, measure or calculated field, you go in here, you do describe, you will get a explanation of the field, what kind of role, type, column width, status, and also the domain in here. So you can have a look at what is this particular field if you don't know the data that you're working on. This also works for calculated field. If I go to days to ship, say edit, sorry, not edit the calculation itself, because that you have done probably a couple of times before. You can do describe, and you will see the formula in here and can load the domain. This one is the superstore that comes with your Tableau desktop, and you see that even Tableau doesn't follow best practice. So if I go back to my calculation window, here's another tip. If I hold in the control key and I have a mouse wheel, you can zoom in. You can even do Control+ in here. Makes it easier if you get older and you need to have a bigger text to look at, or if you're sharing something. But what you always should do in Tableau when you create a calculated field is to do the /, say the whatever date we have today and your name, and this is pretty good calculation. Because also if you do this, when you right click and describe this, you will see this in the formula. And even better, because that's really annoying if you have a lot of calculated field and one calculated field is dependent on another one. If I go to this days to ship actual, say edit, zoom in a bit on this, and for some reason I need to multiply this with the days to ship scheduled. It makes no sense, of course, but when I click on this, because I can't remember how is this calculated, if I right click here and say edit, I'm closing this one. But if you see on the right hand side, I get my now just added comments, and I get the formula that you can see on the right hand side as well. So always remember to document what you're doing, because it's very much easier in the in your afterlife to see when you're going to document it. Another thing that's really good in these calculated windows, if I do a change to this particular calculation and I use it in the background over here, then of course I see what is happening to this particular sheet. But always pay attention to this one, because it says 12 dependencies. Because if I change this one in here, it also affects all of these different fields and all of these different sheets. So it might look okay in this particular sheet, but it might mess up some of the other calculations or the other views that you have on your dashboard. Would you say, Aaron, do you want some more?
I mean, we'll always take whatever you got. One question I would have is, you were breaking up when we first started. Can you go over the spell check portion you were talking about when you started?
Yeah, no problem. You see that I have this this title in here. I put in "this is great," or I even had a couple of more S's in there. So when you have installed Grammarly, like I have in here, which is free to install and use if your company allows it, the spell check. When I click on this, you see that I have 2 mistakes that Tableau can fix, or sorry, Grammarly can fix for me. But as long as the windows you have that are closed, like this title, or if you have a calculated field or a caption or whatever, then it doesn't help to say accept in here. You need to open it up. It still finds those mistakes, and then you can say accept, and it will fix it for you. And the same goes for if you have a calculated field or if you have captions or anything. I forgot to fix this one, this. So you can use this as a spell check even on the desktop installation, because you can do some of these on a web in a web edit. But in this case, you can also do it here if you have. At least I've used it with Grammarly. If I assume there's more similar spell check tools out there. But that's also very high up on the wanted list or the ideas list that people would love to have available in Tableau. Anything else from that beginning there that you remember? That I'm just going to double check if there was some. Yeah, there's a couple of other things I can do quickly. If you are looking at your categories, subcategories, and you love level of detail calculations, or maybe rather, if you hate your order of detail calculations, you have no idea how to build them, you can then do a, I'm just going to get rid of this one. We don't need this and this. Sorry, sales. That's the beauty of Tableau. You just undo and redo. So I have my categories, subcategories in here, and I would like to do a level of detail calculation. I would like to find out what is the sum of the furniture or sum of the office supplies in here. And we're looking at the sales. So you can take sales, you can drag it on top of category. Just remember to hold in the control key, at least on Windows. Looks like nothing happened, but hear ye, down here I have a new calculated field, sales by category. I can edit this one, and we see that I have a fixed by category sum of sales. I don't have to write anything. And then I can drag this one in and have a look at the total for furniture, total for office supplies, and then I can reuse this level of detail calculation in further analysis if I want to. That's the quick way of creating a level of detail calculation. It also works if you put this on a date, for example. So you can do the sales by order date, right click, edit, adjust it if you want to, or just keep it as it is and put it into your calculations. So this what is it called? This morning I can't even remember which one I did this morning because it was way earlier today. Let me just show you the one that I did. No, I can't remember. I don't even have the overview in this one. So forget about that. But I urge you to follow or go on Twitter, follow the hashtag or follow me and then see the hashtag TinyTableauTip, because there's so many tips that are out there that are basically really easy to do, but if you don't know about them, then it's then you don't know that you can save a lot of time doing those basically. So hopefully you learned something today. Some of these tips. Let's see if there's anything in the questions in there.
Yeah, the one that you posted today was about the list parameters.
Yeah, exactly. Let me just quickly show that. Well, you can find it on Twitter, but I'm just going to quickly show it then. So it's like this. You know, when you're creating parameters, it's a hack to write all those names in the parameter. So if I'm going to create a parameter on subcategories, you can right click, create parameter, and boom, you have all the available values inside of the parameter. You don't have to write all the combinations in there, and you can say, okay, you have a new parameter, you can show it, you can use it, and reuse it for that matter. The only thing now we need, and that's also high on the wish list, is that I could copy, especially if you do this manually, copy all these values and paste it into a calculated field. Because if you do a case statement from a parameter that you do probably once a week, and you have put sales with a capital S instead of a tiny one, then it doesn't work. So please, Tableau, give us that in the future.
All right. Thanks so much for presenting all these. One last question I had was, you went through all these, and they're all great. Is there a centralized location where you guys have all of these tips, a blog post or something where everybody can find everything that you guys have covered?
No, but that's something that I'm working on. If you go to my Tableau Public profile, I did a 45-minute session where I managed or tried to squeeze in 100 different Tableau tips.
Okay.
Some of them were shown today, but that one, there's a workbook where you can see the before workbook is available to download, and there's instructions on how to do all of them. So my plan is to do something now after when I have a 1-year anniversary of my tiny Tableau tip from September last year. So getting close, I need to create one, about blog post or a Tableau Public one where this one will be available.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for coming and presenting for us. Again, everybody that's still on, we've got Tableau Tim next month, so come tune in for that. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, evening, depending on where you're at in the world. And we'll see you guys next month. Bye bye.
See you.